It takes inspiration, dedication and sheer hard work to be successful in the aviation industry, and I have one such person with me today, and this is Tony Taffy-Smith from the Real Aeroplane Company. Tony, you're based at Breighton Airfield, and what is Breighton Airfield?
Breighton Airfield is a home for classic and vintage airplanes. I just disagree with your first remark, Peter. It requires a singular lack of imagination to run an air show.
Okay, I don't think so. Now this aircraft you sat on the wing of is your pride and joy, isn't it? What is it?
That's right, it's the only flying Mark 11 Spitfire.
Which was used as a photographic aircraft?
Yes, it's a PR photo reconnaissance airplane. It was used in the war in 1944 and 45 and survived 50 operations over Germany and occupied France.
Now this aircraft is going to be the star of the air show, isn't it?
Yes, it's not the star, but it's certainly going to be one of the main attractions. It's finishing the show off, but we have a Hurricane and we have a Mustang as well, so you know we've got some heavy metal.
We've got some interesting stuff, and apart from the heavy metal we've got all sorts of Tiger Moths and Harvards or T6s. What else have we got at the air show?
We've got some interesting Chinese airplanes called Nanchangs, which are military trainers. We've got Orion PT-22, Miles Magister. Miles Magister is only one of 4 in the world. The PT-22 is actually the military prototype. We've got a little Aronca C-100. It's the only one in the world flying. So lots and lots of interesting airplanes.
And not only aircraft, there's cars and motorbikes, stunt riders, and
that's right. Yes,
it's a real family day out.
That's right. I mean, we're in the entertainment business. I think a lot of air shows these days, especially the big ones, are drifting into just heavy metal whizzing up and down. We're into entertaining everybody, entertaining the family, and hoping that the children will drag the parents back next year.
And what a beautiful day it is for an air show.
Fantastic, couldn't be better.
Thank you, Tony, and welcome to the 1999 Breighton Air Show. Breighton is the home of the Real Aeroplane Company, the only airfield in the north where you can see vintage aircraft flying. Open on weekends, you can see not only our Spitfire, but Hurricane, Harvards, Buckers, Tiger Moths, Ryans, Piper Cubs, and many, many more. Come and see these wonderful machines flying. Meet the pilots and talk to the mechanics that keep these old aircraft in the air. Also, we have some interesting aircraft being rebuilt, such as our Messerschmitt 109, Bucker Youngmeister, to mention just 2. It is a wonderful day out for the whole family and a day not to be missed.
Welcome to Breighton Extravaganza. We've got cars, we've got aeroplanes, helicopters, idiots on motorbikes, vintage bikes, vintage cars, helicopter pilots,
we haven't got any pilots.
Pleasure flights, t-shirts for sale, very good value for money, and so are the helicopter flights. Thank you, brand new bowl, Breighton Airfield, today.
However, it all has to be flown to the regulations as we've given to the Civil Aviation Authority. First one is a 100-metre line. The 100-metre line is marked with red squares, red rectangular boards, okay, along the whole of this line. You'll see them from the air. That is the 100-metre line, okay? Now, that is speeds less than 100 knots. 150 metre line is 100 knots to 200 knots, okay? And they're in green. So just remember, red for danger, green for okay, for your average aeroplane. Right? The 200 metre line isn't marked because it only applies to Mark Jeffries, and we didn't have any rules for it anyway. Spectator area is here, car park is here, and you can see that we've in fact taken from the spectator area 100 metres out from the car park, and that keeps us clear of spectators in car park, which the rules require. There's to be absolutely no overflying of the crowd line at all. Okay? It's just a simple rule. Nobody flies over the crowd, period. Whether it's a club event or whether it's the actual air show itself between 2 and 5.
Looking at the lines of the incomparable Bucker-Youngman, it's a 1936 design biplane, built in Germany originally in 1936, designed by Carl Anderson, a Swede, and manufactured by the Bucker Aircraft Company in Rangsdorf near Berlin. It's an aircraft that's built with wooden wings, steel tubular framed fuselage, which gives it a good power to weight ratio. This particular model has 150 horsepower, and as you can see it does a nice half Cuban, which is 5/8 of a loop, and a half roll to erect from the 45-degree inverted down line. So he's doing it again, and actually at the moment I'm looking for the toilet roll that's on its way to the ground that I've thrown out previously. The engine is a 150 horsepower Tigra engine made in Madrid. This particular aircraft is a Spanish license-built aircraft, and is probably one of the most plentiful of the designs, although there are probably only a few hundred surviving in the world. It's actually in Spanish Air Force colours, which is grey with the RF roundel and red fin and white rudder with a black cross on. You can see it's doing a stall turn at the moment. Very aerobatic aeroplane. Nice to fly, light inputs, lovely ailerons, 4 ailerons on the wings, which makes it able to do a nice axial roll. And there you can see it's doing its speciality. It's a flick roll, which is an auto-rotative manoeuvre, and that's brought about by just putting full back stick and full rudder in, which flicks the aircraft around, and by putting opposite rudder in you can actually stop the flick roll where you want to. That's not usual in a lot of aeroplanes. The flick roll can become an uncontrollable. And the Young Meister, which is its variant single-seat brother, they are renowned for absolutely stopping dead on in a flick roll where the pilot wants it to. And you can see I'm coming around now in a nice steep turn. And now demonstrating a very nice axial roll. 4 ailerons working hard. The aircraft hardly loses any height at all, and the roll is perfectly axial. Quite unusual in a biplane of that era. One of the most difficult things to do with this aeroplane, believe it or not, is land it. It's got very soft oleos, and it tends to wiggle around on the runway. And you can see how the rudder's moving backwards and forwards, working very hard to keep the thing straight. The elevators are fully back, fully up, so that the tail wheel is sitting perfectly on the ground, hard on the ground, for the pilot to steer. The tail wheel actually steers through the rudder bar. And there's a happy pilot. We're showing you this shot because this is another Bucker-Youngman example. It's Golf Tango Alpha Fox Fox, and it's an aeroplane that's a particular favourite of mine. I used to own it, and in fact I flew this aeroplane back from Australia in '89 in 21 days back to England on solo flight, and this is before the days of global positioning satellites, when it was just a dead reckoning exercise. It had fuel in the front seat, and in fact it ended up about 20% over gross weight, and yet the aircraft still accepted all the trials and tribulations of that trip without any. This is the oldest aircraft on the airfield, an Aeronca C3 made in Peterborough in 1936. This is the only Aeronca of its type flying today. It has a 36 horsepower Jap engine that allegedly has a top speed of 95 miles an hour. The lucky pilot flying this aircraft today is Tony Smith. Okay, Tony, go for it. This pretty aircraft is the prototype Orion ST3, the first of over 1,000 eventually built. Built in 1941, it has a 160 horsepower Kinner engine. This engine produces a very characteristic sound. The aircraft is based at Breighton Airfield and is today owned by Peter Rice.
Yeah, just go in and no, go on. What's the Concord on the top?
Oh, bloody hell. It must have taken you hours.
What? Years, not hours.
Years.
Can't hear you, so you're all right. It's being natural.
Got you, Greg. Go away.
How are you doing, ladies? You selling much? What's selling the best?
Have a lilt, a tango.
The beef burgers.
How much are your beef burgers?
2 lilts of a tango.
£1.80.
Another aircraft that Tony is flying at the air show is this beautiful aircraft. What is this, Tony?
It's a Nanchang CJ-6A, Peter. It's basically a Chinese-built aeroplane for ab initio training, and your UT pilot would be actually involved in flying this aeroplane in China and would learn on this aeroplane before going on to jets and other aircraft. It's 1.4 metric tons. It's got a 280 horsepower 9-cylinder radial engine. It's a real tough old aeroplane, very nicely built, and something that we enjoy flying here.
Now this aircraft, Tony, it's a military trainer, so it must be aerobatic.
Yes, it is. It's nicely aerobatic. It's an aeroplane that you can fly. It's not got any nasty habits. It hasn't got an inverted system, interestingly enough, but it does say in the manual you can fly inverted for 11 seconds, but that's because of the oil limitation. There is no inverted oil system on it. But it is nicely aerobatic. You can do loops, rolls, half Cubans, and it'll even do a Lomshavak, which you'll see during the air show.
Fantastic. And I believe there's two on the airfield, is there?
Yes, there is. We're flying a duo, actually, myself and Brian Brown. Brian has his own Nanchang, and we really do like the airplanes. We bought them as a bit of a deal, and we're enjoying them thoroughly. They're stable airplanes, nice to fly, really strong, tough airplanes, good undercarriage on them, nice thing.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Can we have a look inside?
Of course you can.
Okay.
Right, while we're around the front of the airplane, one of the interesting things about this airplane are the louvers that are in front, and this is how we get a good quick warm-up when we fire up the engine. What we do is close the louvers as they are now while the engine's running to get a quick warm-up, and then as it warms up we open the louvers. Again, a very important thing to do is not to take off with the louvers closed, otherwise you can overheat the engine and exceed the maximum cylinder head temperature. So So I'm just going to pull it through now and give it 12 blades to make absolutely certain that we've got no oil in the bottom cylinders. One for luck. Okay, that's the engine pulled through.
Okay, so you're ready to fly
She's ready
now?
to rock and roll.
Let's go flying.
Okay, clear the prop. Okay, more prime. Clear.
Yeah, it smells nice and warm.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Good oil smell about it.
Okay. Trim's good. There's a little trim light actually on the panel, which is quite nice, and that tells you that the trim's in neutral. So we just go after neutral to make it slightly tail heavy. Take the gate out of the undercarriage so we can get the gear up straight away. And the jobs are good. I think I've run out of excuses, Peter.
Okay.
Your straps and your canopy okay?
Yeah, canopy's closed and tie the strap in.
Okay, just close the canopy a bit for me. You can actually leave it slightly ajar if you want on the second hole along. That might be a bit better because it's very warm today.
Okay.
Just give a call on the radio, and Chandy is lining up on 1-1. Good luck to make sure nothing's on approach, which it isn't. I'll line up in the middle of the runway. Okay, just check we've got fine pitch, which we've got. And the car needs to go. Good. so we decrease the pull on the stick. Okay, and now we just go for a nice simple loop. Parallel again with the runway. Straighten ourselves up a bit. Okay, here we go. Set the RPM and the T's and P's are good. Left rudder over the top as we slow down. Okay. Quite a bit of G there, John. How much G do you think we follow? Well, it's really quite reasonable. I'd say maybe 3.5 G there. 3.5? Yeah, it's nothing particularly excessive. Okay. This aeroplane is flown with lots of speed on and gentle pulls. It's a very smooth aeroplane. It's not like a pit special. It's an energy management thing where you're using all the energy of the aeroplane. It's a heavy aeroplane, lots of momentum, and all you're doing really is getting a lot of speed up to increase the diameter of your loop all the time. Yeah. It hasn't got a high power to weight ratio. It's a heavy aeroplane, so you use the momentum of the aeroplane to get really nice maneuvers. The whole idea of this aeroplane is to fly it smoothly. Yeah. Okay, well we'll try a stall turn now, Peter, if you'd like. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, because of the way the engine turns, everything is to the right. So we're going to have to go right. The engine simply won't allow the aeroplane to stall turn to the left because of the way that the propeller turns. Okay, so back over the airfield. And again, we've got to get up to 300 clicks, which is our speed for actually pulling vertical. And we're going to just pull slightly short of the vertical going up, and then at the correct moment we're going to put our right rudder on and go around to the right. Okay. So here we go again, diving with a bit of right rudder. T's and P's are good, power settings are good. Okay. Okay, check level. Hold it there, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Right rudder, round we go. Get round. There we go. Right, we're now going vertically down. And we go straight into a roll. Okay. G coming on. Okay. And remembering that this hasn't got any vertical system, we barrel roll in slightly to keep the positive G on so we're not upsetting the engine by lack of oil. Okay. So it's just a way of looking. You could do it, but you know, the way I fly the airplane, I try and keep everything positive so we're looking after the engine. Yeah. Okay, Peter, now for the run and brake to land, which is compulsory. Okay, absolutely. So we'll just go over the north side of the airfield, join the circuit in the normal way, and then we'll run a brake to land. get our height, keep climbing, come back on the power. Now if the engine failed at this stage, we could get back in, says me confidently.
Yes, okay.
Okay, gears down. We're at gear limiting speed, we can put the gear down. 6 are coming out, 1 green, 3 greens, which is good. The propeller's set to fine pitch, which it should be, and we can now, we're within flap limiting range as well, we can actually drop the flaps, call downwind. None chance turning downwind, forward 1. Okay, landing lights on. T's and P's are good. Hatches and harness, okay, your hatch and harness all right, Peter?
Yes, they certainly are.
Okay, fuel is on and sufficient. Brakes, we have air, we have brakes. Okay, on we go.
And now we have some heavy metal. This is Rob Davies in his P-51 Mustang. Known as Big Beautiful Doll, this aircraft was made in Australia in 1951 and is a fine example of the type.
This is a recreation Dino 1959 Grand Prix car. All the originals were destroyed in the year of 1959 and none survived. It's been a long ambition to recreate this car, and as you can see, just recently been completed, and we're using it here at Breighton today to try and get some of the running development sorted and let everybody see it for the first time.
When did you actually finish it?
Just a few months ago. It's been at Brooklands fortnight back and caused quite a sensation there at the Italia Festival, and it's really sort of giving it a good shake down and sorting out all the wrinkles. And
what engines have you got in it?
It's got a proper Dino V6 4-cam unit in it. It's around 300 brake horsepower at 10,000 RPM.
And everybody will want to know, how fast does it go?
The originals did just under 200 mile an hour, which I presume this will do something similar.
And who used to drive them?
The car before this was Mike Hawthorne, Peter Collins, Luigi Musso. Unfortunately, 2 of those died because of severe brake problems, and this car was the replacement. It was the first Ferrari ever with disc brakes. They were taken off of Peter Collins's Jaguar with permission of his widow, and Enzo Ferrari allowed them to be fitted to the race cars in a bid to save obviously the drivers' lives.
Yeah, the brakes are good on this one now.
Very, very good, but they're still a little unstable. They're settling down.
It's reassuring.
Yeah, a lot better.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Big hand for Dave. Thank you very much, Dave.
Come on, Ryan! No, you didn't tell me! What are you doing? Come on, what are you doing? Give me my car back! Come on,
I don't care. You've had plenty of warnings. We've been on about it for hours, mate. You should have left it in the first place.
I want my car back!
It's only worth a tenner.
Car back! Put it down! Put it down right now!
Yes, Seven. Just a minute. I'll ask him if he'll bring it back.
I want my car back!
Yeah, he says he's bringing it back. He's bringing it back. Did you pay a lot of money for it? I'll just have a word with the pilot. Anywhere there, Mr. Scott, I think. It's all right. It's coming back now. You're all right. No problem. There it goes. Oh.
Security, please. Security to the tower.
Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. Keep away from the tower. Keep away. Nothing to do with me. I only work here, mate.
Come down here!
Hey!
Come down here!
I thought there were only blanks.
But I'm very disappointed in you. Dropped my car like that. Did not disintegrate it. You know, you didn't do it. You should have got it even higher, 5,000 feet or something like that. Stop embarrassing me.
Did they shoot you this time?
Yeah,
you got shot again?
First shot was a blank, so I thought, oh no, it's not going to collapse, is it? And next time.
Next time they're here.
Yeah.
You see him in a different light now, do you? You see how cross he can get.
Well, do you know what? I'm so disappointed. He was going to teach me how to drive, and now I'm not going to be able to learn.
Yes.
The post-war trainer is this de Havilland Chipmunk. This aircraft took over the work of the Tiger Moth and the wartime trainers and has proved to be very successful, and only recently has been retired from active service with the RAF. This aircraft today, based at Breighton, is being displayed by Alistair Newell.
Nice landing there, John. Next up for your delight with the Real Aeroplane very fast, and we're just going to see how fast.
This amazing aircraft is a CAP 231X. It is wooden construction with a carbon fibre wing. This gives us an amazing stress loading of plus and minus 24 G. With its 300 horsepower Lycoming engine, gives it a rate of climb at over 3,000 feet a minute. demonstrating the aircraft's full aerobatic potential. Thank you, Dave, for a very impressive air display. This is a beautifully built SE-5 replica, a First World War fighter, and is flown today by Gary Ferryman. Gary's doing a great job of showing off this very nice aircraft. Here's a glider being towed back to Burn Gliding Club by an ex-crop duster Piper Pawnee. Here's the Harvard being displayed by Alistair Newell. Pilots would first learn to fly on Tiger Moths and Miles Magister before going on to the Harvard. After the Harvard, they would go on to either Fighters or Bomber Command. Alistair is a very experienced aerobatic pilot and has been around Breighton from the early days. His day job is actually an airline pilot with Gill Air at Newcastle. The Harvard has a very characteristic sound. This sound comes from the propeller wingtips, which are going at near the speed of sound. The engine itself, a Pratt & Whitney 600 horsepower, makes very little noise and just rumbles very quietly. This is a heavy aircraft and not the easiest of aeroplanes to do aerobatics in and display. I'm sure you'll agree with me that Alice is doing a very fine job. Thank you, Alistair, for a very fine aerobatic display.
Give away to the helicopter display, the parachute display team, and make the way. See you later, boys and girls.
not the normal type of model, is it?
No, it's a gas turbine model. It runs about 110,000 RPM at full power. It idles at 35,000.
Idles at 35,000.
Yeah. If you look in here, you can see the fuel pump. There's a receiver for the radio.
Yeah.
There's the bag of fuel. It's like a colostomy bag, which holds about half a gallon.
All right.
It'll run for about 12 minutes on that.
Yeah.
It costs about £1,800 for the engine.
£1,800 for the engine?
Yeah, it weighs about 19 pounds on takeoff.
Yeah.
And about 15 on landing if you use all the fuel.
That's amazing. Is this new technology?
It's been out about 10 years, but it's getting better all the time and more reliable, and they're lasting longer. They're getting about 100 hours between overhauls on the bearings.
How much is overhaul?
Yeah, about £75.
So it's quite expensive to operate.
Well, not compared to a full-size one, I don't think.
Oh no, possibly not. What sort of speed does it?
Well, I've actually had it clocked on a calm day at 157 miles an hour.
Wow.
So obviously that's the ground speed.
Yes. And have you made it?
I made the model from a kit.
From a kit.
Then I import the engine from Denmark. We sell them. So.
You're the agent.
Yes.
It's a Danish engine, is it?
Yes.
Now, how do you start it? You've got all this complicated-looking equipment here.
There's an air bottle here, a scuba bottle. It's got air in it. And you blow the engine over with air.
Oh, I see.
And that gets it up to about 15,000 RPM.
Yeah.
And you've got propane gas, which it ignites on.
Right.
And then you switch a valve over to the fuel once it's warmed up after only 2 or 3 seconds.
I see.
Then you switch it over to paraffin, and the pump starts automatically after about 2 seconds. So it weighs about 15 pounds. It's got retracts on it.
Wow, they're quick. Yeah, fantastic.
You lose about 20 miles an hour if you don't put the wheels in.
Yeah, so it's well worth having it retracted.
Oh, yeah. Of course, it looks nicer.
Yeah.
Here at Elvington with all these vehicles that you see here today.
Yes.
And there's one on the 15th of August of this year, which will be commemorating Royal Navy Day. So if you're at Royal Navy Day or an enthusiast, you could come and see us at Elvington. 15th of August this year.
And here's Tony flying the Hawker Hurricane. This Hurricane was made in Canada in 1942 as a night fighter for coastal work. It is based today at Breighton Airfield and owned by Robert Fleming. Tony is now going to take us round the cockpit of his wonderful Spitfire.
Now the knob on your left hand side is the trim wheel, is it?
That's right, this is the rudder trim wheel, and before we take off we've got to select full right trim. So I'm going to select full right trim now.
Okay.
That's full right trim.
The next one forward is the
elevator trim.
Elevator trim.
And I've got an indicator on the panel which is here.
Yeah.
And that's neutral, and then I just select slightly aft of neutral, which is nose up.
Okay.
So that's ready to go.
The next quadrant is the throttle.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to check the throttle for full movement, and also to make sure that the friction's working on it.
Yes.
So I can feel there's plenty of friction there. That's full throttle.
And the friction nuts at the base of it.
This is the base. This is it here. So that's my friction. So
what's the button on the throttle, Tony?
That's the press to talk for the transmitter. For the transmitter, for the radio.
Okay.
And this is my idle cutoff. This is how I stop the engine here, by just taking it out of the gate like that, pulling it back, and the engine will stop. Not to be confused with the air screw pitch.
Right.
At the moment, that's fully fine, and that brings me back to course.
And is it a variable speed? Or
yes, it's variable speed.
Variable speed. Pitch control.
No, it's not. It's constant speed.
It's constant speed.
Yes.
Okay.
You dial up what you want.
Dial up whatever RPM you want.
Correct.
Okay. And then you've got the mag switches on the left.
Correct. There.
Fantastic.
And,
Okay.
The start buttons are here. These are shielded. So I've got. So when for the starting sequence, I actually press the starter. Press the boost coil, which gives a shower of sparks to the engine to get it firing. Once it's running, I just flick the mags on.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Obviously, at that stage, this is right back here, so you've got a bit of a handful. I normally prop this under my elbow, so I've got full up elevator, press the engine start, the boost, and then the mags, and then straight onto the throttle.